Media, DJ Small, and I find my way back out in Indiana, man. It's been a while, it seems like, since I've got to do an episode, but Cory Skipton's made some time for us. We're going to sit down and talk with Cory and see what's going on with him. Cory, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
So, man, where do we begin? How long have you been racing?
I'm going to venture to say probably at least nine years or so.
Okay, 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you always drove modifieds? Is that where you started at?
Yeah, that's where I first started at. Never really raced anything before.
Didn't do no go-karts, no street stocks, nothing?
No, I just went straight for a modified.
Straight for a modified.
Straight for a modified.
Hey, if you're going to dive in, you
might as well go for it. Basically, I was push truck driver for Lawrenceburg.
Oh, okay.
Probably for a good 3 years.
Yeah.
Push sprint cars and stuff, and then I got wild hair and
decided you wanted to go fast.
Yeah.
You wanted to be on the other end of the truck.
Right, yeah. So I actually blame it on Jason Jameson. He was
it's got to be.
He's the one that got me into
that
it.
That dude, he causes all kinds of chaos.
Oh, he's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
He actually they had a modified down there, Jason Tribby. Okay. Back in the day, he had one.
Yeah.
And they kept it down there at his place. And
yeah,
one day Jason's like, I'll buy that one. He's like, you gotta go buy that one from him.
You're right.
So it was an old throwing dirt.
Okay, yeah.
And I went down and bought it, and then come home and I was in trouble. Come home and told my mom about it, and she's like, you did what?
You did what?
What'd you do? And then I thought I was going to get kicked out, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then, my mom's like, Rick, and my dad, he's like, did you hear this shit? You know, and my dad just like, I don't know what to tell you. That's his fault.
Yeah. How old were you?
Oh, man, I'm 36 now, so.
Okay.
Man, I was probably at least 25, 26 maybe.
Okay, yeah.
But
old enough to make your own decisions.
Right.
Just not old enough to know any better.
Right, yeah. And then, obviously I told my mom it was Jason's fault.
Yeah. Jason made me do it.
Yeah, he was the one that told me it was a good deal, and I went out and bought it. So, yeah, and then I went out and bought it, and then.
How did you like it?
Man, back when I first started, I had so many people around me, telling me what I needed to do and how to do it, which I had no idea how to do. No idea,
because you never done anything before.
I never done anything before. I just thought you went in, turned the wheel left,
and that was it. You just went for it.
So I remember my first time I went out, and I went to Florence. Okay. Of all places. To go first.
Yeah.
You might as well go to Florence.
Yeah.
So I went out, and my buddy Jake Powell was there, and we went in, raced. I was all excited, ready to go, and went up to the lineup shooting. They come up, checked on me, and I didn't have nothing strapped. I didn't have a seatbelt strapped.
You just got in.
I was ready to go.
Oh my God.
So I went out for hot laps, didn't tear anything up. Come back in, and then Jimmy Block, he come in and he's like, you gotta go out there and you gotta get in the gas. You can't let out like you're doing. He said, you gotta go in the corner and hammer on it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. He said, it's all metal, we can fix it. So come back in, we messed with tires a little bit.
Right.
Went back out for the heat race. First lap, I went in the corner, I didn't let out, and I ended up on the wall. Tore the whole right front off.
It's metal, we can fix it.
Yeah, tore the whole right front off my rear end. It was sitting up on the wall.
No way.
And my helmet flew off. I didn't have my helmet strapped. Helmet flew off it. I don't even know where it went.
Did you get it back?
I got it back. And then the right front, I rolled in the infield with no right front.
No right front.
I thought the tire was still on there. So I rolled in the infield, and they had to tow me off and come back in, and Jimmy's like, that's what you got to do right there. I'm like, I don't think that's what you got to do.
I don't think that
ain't right. We got to fix shit now.
Yeah.
So, that was, and then, there's a couple other incidents. I went to Moeller, and
Did you get it fixed that night and go back out, or was you done for the night?
I think we ended up fixing it.
Okay.
And going back out.
Did you make the show?
I think we made the show because there wasn't.
Okay, I'm going to get pissed right now because I tell you what, when I got a modified, it took me like 6 weeks before I could make the show.
Right.
But this is back in 2,000.
Yeah.
So there was a full A and B field every single week.
Right.
It was tough to make the show back then.
Right. I know.
Or maybe I just sucked.
I still do sometimes. But we went back out, and I'm pretty sure I made the feature. But and then it just kept going.
Right.
And
what was that car like? Was it
Man,
leaf spring? Was it
it was
a bar car?
It was a bar car, but I had
Okay.
it on Z-Link.
Z-Link. Okay.
Z-Linked
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
both sides.
Both sides.
I think I had that Z-Linked on both sides, or just the right side.
Right side.
Left side
You
was
were
4-bar.
4-bar left side Z-Link
Yes.
right.
Yeah. So we was that way for a while. Actually, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
probably that way for a good, probably 3 or 4 years.
I love that. That
Yeah.
was my go-to. I mean,
Yeah.
just about every modified I had,
Right.
that's how it ended up because I liked it. And if I liked it,
Right.
that's all matters.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. You gotta like it yourself.
Yeah.
It was Z-Link going to 4-bar. It's just way more forgiving.
Yeah.
You got a lot more.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay in the throttle as much.
Right, right.
But yeah, it was a lot more forgiving. But we ended up, there was a couple instances we went to Moeller, starting on the front row the first year, and
Yeah.
I took everybody out besides the 4th place car. And they probably loved me. But,
Yeah. You're making friends left and
right.
right.
I was making friends left and right then. But now, in the coming years that I've been,
Have you learned a little bit?
oh man, I learned a lot. I mean, just this past year, last year probably I learned loads and
Right.
spring loads and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's a huge deal.
What kind of chassis are you kicking now?
This is a Stealth.
Stealth.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out of Melvin, Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah.
Jody Puckett, he runs the show
Right.
down there.
Jimmy Lennox, he runs Stealth
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Jimmy
Yeah.
runs the
I
Stealth.
knew there's a few of them out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not real familiar with them.
Yeah.
Did you have you had a Diamond for a little bit, didn't you?
I had a Diamond. I actually bought that one off of Rick Corbin.
Okay.
That orange car he
Yeah,
ran
yeah,
over
yeah,
at
yeah.
Florence, won all the races.
Yeah.
I bought that one off him.
Okay.
I had a Pierce. I've had a Pierce before.
I knew you had a Pierce. I think I bought a Pierce off of you.
Yeah, I think you did,
I think it was sitting right here somewhere.
Yep. And then had a Lightning, when Donnie Adams was running the show down there.
Yep. And that was probably still when he was still down in Somerset.
Yeah. down
Before
there
the
in
show
London.
moved up
Yep.
to Sharonville,
West
wherever it is
somewhere
now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
David Lehman runs it now.
Yep,
But,
yep.
but yeah, no, these guys down there at Stealth, man, they're really good people, and
Okay.
they build a really good race car. and
Yeah.
Really, really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, on anything, you can call them anytime, and
Yeah.
they'll give you all kinds of information.
You know, that was one of the things that I felt like I liked about my Pierce car. I had, oh God, what the chassis did I have before? I think it was a, oh man, it's going to drive me nuts now. Just drew a blank. It was the guy that used to help John Gill, the older guy.
Oh, what's his name? They were out for sales
Yeah. Before they built Cyclones.
before they built Cyclones.
Yeah. This was like, man, what was it? Oh, it's going to come to me. It's going to drive me
His
nuts.
name now. He's an older guy.
Older guy, yeah.
Worked for Terry Egan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the guy. We're
Yeah.
thinking of the
We're
same
thinking
guy.
of the same
Same
one.
guy, just
Yeah.
can't think of the name. Man, I had this car. I bought it from, the car's history was Ted Nobby's.
Ted Nobby, yeah.
Ted Nobby had it. Ted Nobby, he won a championship with it. I don't know if he ran it a year or two, a couple years, whatever. He sold it to Kevin Hartman. Kevin Hartman, he ran it maybe a year or two. And I don't know if he won a championship or came second in championship. So I'm like, this car, it's a good car.
Right.
So I bought it from Kevin. So I'm like, okay. So of course, I'm neither of those guys, or do I have either of their budgets?
Right,
So,
right.
but I mean, I had a lot of fun in it, and I did as good as I could do. By the time I was done with that car, I don't know that you could have made that car any faster than what I was getting out of it without putting a big new power plant and Scott Bloomquist behind the wheel. So, and that thing was always 4-bar Z-Link. And I tell you who helped me out with that was, it's how it was set up, but Billy Vaughn.
Billy Vaughn, yeah.
Billy Vaughn that was his heyday when he was kicking everybody's ass everywhere he
Z-Link,
went.
yep.
And I told him, I said, man, I got it modified. I don't know nothing about what to do with it. He said, man, he said, come over to the shop, and he said, I'll teach you, show you anything you want to know. You can pencil, paper, draw, maps, whatever you want to do. I'll show you anything you want to know. I was like, oh man, so I did. I went over, I don't know, one afternoon, probably spent a few hours there just taking notes and writing things down and bar holes and just learning, you know, because I didn't know anything about a modified. So I ran that car in 05 and got Rookie of the Year at Florence with it. And then tore it up at Lawrenceburg. Imagine that. No, it was not the track's fault, nothing like that. It was just a racing deal.
Yeah.
And then I bought my first Pierce car came from Danny McGee. Danny McGee, he had bought one at the auction there in Lawrenceburg when Tommy Wick had his auctions.
Yeah.
And he bought it, promised it to his boys. It's sitting in the weeds. They weren't going to do anything with it. So Danny called me up after I destroyed my car. The name almost popped in my head. As I was talking about it, it almost popped in my head. So I got that car from Danny, and it was like a chassis number 12 from Bob Pierce. I mean, it's an old square tube car.
Yeah.
But the thing I liked about it is a dumb racer. I could get the book. I got the Bob Pierce book, and it told you everything you needed to know. Yeah. It like put this hole at this bar and that and this, and you had standard, slick, and heavy, or whatever. Shit, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, I was going to tune myself out of the game.
Yeah.
So I liked that. And for however many years I ran that car, that was in first year they built cars or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the one I bought from you was a 2011.
Yep.
We took those cars, set them in the shop, and swapped everything over in 1 week.
It's crazy.
It was Cory, I tell you what, it was so close to being dead on. The doors and rivet holes even matched up.
Wow.
from like 10 or 11 years later. That's like, that just don't happen.
No. It's about like, when you have a wreck or something, and you got to go back through and nothing lines up.
Nothing lines up.
Nothing does.
I don't know how those things line up. I mean, everything. I've never seen rivet holes line up on hardly anything.
No, you hit something once and you might as well plan on drilling new holes in that new body.
Yeah. I told Bob about that, and he said, we must have hit something right. He says, I've never heard of that, especially that far apart. I said, well, you guys must have a certain measurement or a pattern that you guys used on that, or maybe I just got lucky. But everything lined right up. I mean, you take suspension parts off, and it just went together in a week.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a race.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's from back then till now. It's just so much different.
Oh yeah.
It's just so. These cars now, they're so finesse with
Yeah.
Just any little movement.
Little things.
You can make one change you think is going to be better, and then you make another change that you might think is better too, but then it might just totally screw that other change you made up, so you got to compensate for that change you just made. Actually, it happened to me this past weekend at the North-South. I thought it was going to help me, and it didn't help me. It was supposed to help me where I was loose at, but it made me loose on the other end too, so it didn't work.
So now I know things have changed so much since I raced. Usually it was if I made an adjustment on one corner, I had to go do something on the opposite corner.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got to do.
Okay, so that's still the same.
I thought this past weekend the car was really good, really decent for the heat race, and from Florence, you look at the track and you think, well, it don't look too slick, but then you get out on the track and that's what happened to me. I made that little change thinking it was going to help me on exit, and I got out on the track. I'm like, oh, shit,
I kind of messed up. That place can be hard to read sometimes too.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it looks one thing, when you get out there, it's a different ballgame.
Oh yeah, it's just I've always wanted to be good there, and
the place is hard to be good at.
It is. You almost got to run there every week, to be good there.
Yeah. Hell, I did run every week, and I can't say I was great.
Well, I ran this weekend, and I honestly, with how many cars they had, I thought, oh man, I don't know about this because I'm not really good here. And
how many modifieds did they end up with?
I think they ended up with like 40.
40, something like that, yeah.
And actually, I went out, and that was the first time I ran that car since we flipped it.
Okay.
At Lawrenceburg, and
Flipped it at Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
How fun was that?
That was not fun.
That was not fun.
That sucked. that was one of them things where you never want to do again.
You don't?
No,
Okay.
It's one of them things where you almost go to a rough racetrack now and you pull in and you don't even run.
Really?
Yeah, it's just
that bad.
Yeah, it was. I think it ended up being about 6 or 7 times on my flip. It almost felt like a roller coaster going through a tight
Yeah.
But I was just glad I landed.
Right.
And then this is the same body that's on the car right now, besides a couple pieces on the hood and the decking.
Yeah.
It's the same size and everything, roof and everything.
Man, it don't look bad.
No.
I mean, it's got a little character to it.
I took the big truck out there and I ran over the panels and put it back on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I tell you what, I got some Slingin dirt stickers that are about that color. We can fix them dudes right up.
Might as well cover up a couple
We'll
bits.
cover up a couple bits.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's I look back too, from now till when I first started, and I honestly wonder how I stayed in it.
Yeah.
Because I tore a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
In my beginning of my career.
Yeah.
Of racing, probably I'm gonna say the first 3 years at least.
Just keep tearing shit
I
up.
just kept tearing stuff up. Just front end stuff. Working on the front end all the time, and and then I look back now and I run a body for almost a whole year in my career, and I look back, I'm like, how did I stay in it? How did I keep going?
You were learning.
Oh yeah, I was
you were learning.
Sure. For the money I got in racing, which everybody can probably say the same thing. You could have one heck of a house or one heck of a garage, to build. But
we don't do it for the money. We do it for the fun.
No,
I hope.
For sure. Anybody says they're doing it for the money, they're definitely wrong.
I don't know how, man. You just gotta have deep pockets, or friends with somebody that's got deep pockets.
That and the big sponsors, big sponsors help out a lot.
Yeah, I know like the touring levels. Those guys have sponsors.
Oh yeah.
And still, even at that, when you got guys that are going through multiple motors in 1 year, that's insane.
Yeah, especially in late model guys, they got 50, 60 grand in a motor, compared to a modified, you got 20, 30,
I know a guy, I'm not going to mention names, I know a guy at Eldora this year, blew a motor and hadn't even wrote the check for it yet.
Oh.
So now you got to pay for something that's no good.
Yeah, I actually had one of them heartbreaks at the beginning of this season. I went down for practice and we ran about 2 laps and it was done.
It was done. It was it.
That was first night on it.
Oh man, that would make me sick.
Oh, it was I was pretty.
Yeah.
I was pretty pissed.
Say the least. I was very fortunate. I ran. My stuff, I freshened it up and went through it every year. I ran the same block and the same crank for over 15 years.
Man, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And that's back now with the way the world is.
You can't do that nowadays.
You can't do it now. It's like you do that, it's just you ain't gonna do it.
You ain't gonna do it
anymore. Like no matter, I could probably run these motors probably 2 years as much as we run.
Right.
But at the end of the year, I like to go through them and just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Go through the bearings and stuff like that.
I think at most I got maybe 2 seasons without freshening up.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that often. It was every year it got tore down and inspected and made sure that it was. And as long as there was no damage, it was. Man, I think it was a minimum $1,500 to freshen it up and put it back together, and that's on a buddy deal.
That's crazy. That's the same with these cars.
You ain't gonna get deals like that nowadays.
No, you're not. Definitely not. That's the same with these cars. Like beginning 8-10 years ago. You didn't have. You worried about scaling. You worried about doing this and that. But like now, I've learned probably 3 to 4 years ago, maybe longer than that. But I learned that scaling these cars, you scale them once.
It's it.
And you don't touch them.
Yeah.
You don't even worry about it unless you have a hard wreck or something, maybe. But other than that, you just set your loads and you roll.
Yeah.
No, that's easy.
What's your thoughts on this? There's a reason I ask. I see a lot of people that's monkey see, monkey do.
Oh yeah.
People say, "Oh, if this guy's doing it, he's winning.
Right.
I gotta try it. I gotta do that too."
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of what kind of driver you are, you know.
Okay.
But a lot of times, I mean, a lot of times what they're doing it for a reason. You know,
They're doing it for a reason.
They're doing it for you to look, to see, and think that it's working.
Yeah.
It's probably not even doing anything, just for you to copy and just to get your mind going.
Yeah. I got told a story, and I'm not gonna say names yet because I'm the story I heard it from. I'm going to record still with both of these guys. I'm going to bring it up with them and get their take on it. I had a guy tell me, he said, man, this guy, every week, he parked next to me. He said, and he did everything I did. He said, we usually ran first or second. He said, I won majority of the time, but everything I did, he did. He said, and we noticed this. He said, so they took a chunk of styrofoam and wrapped it up in black electrical tape, painted it and everything. He said him and his crew guy, they went over and picked it up and was like it's all heavy.
Right.
Took it. He said they mounted it like up on the back of the halo, up real high. He said, I can't remember if it was later that night or the next week, the guy next to him had a piece of lead there. He said his car was horrible. I'm like, that's a funny story right there.
You know, you could probably, like, on the same with this car, any car, you go out and copy the winningest driver.
Yeah.
Go over there and
that doesn't mean it's going to work on yours.
Go over and look at every bar he's got, check his angles, whatever, and you put it on your car.
Ain't gonna work.
It don't matter. It's a matter of what that driver or whatever. You know, because either he's going in the corner harder and you're not going in hard enough, and it's going to be really sucky. It's going to be way too tight.
It's just not going to be right for everybody.
No.
Everybody drives just a little bit different. I mean, you can have some guys that are really close, but everybody's style is a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of it anymore is in your front end geometry. You know, you got the front end geometry stuff is a big part.
Now,
right front.
If I remember correctly, I think most of my stuff was always like metric front end.
Yeah.
And then I think when I bought that car from you, I think it had like Pinto spindles, or there was something different, but I was like, oh, okay.
I wish they would go back to that.
Metric or Pinto?
Metric.
Okay.
And just start, you know.
Yeah, it was simple. It was simple.
It was simple and just way cheaper.
Yeah.
You go out and cut a metric clip off a car from a junkyard and weld it back on, because that's what Donnie Adams did all the time.
Yeah, forever.
He'd have hundreds of clips down there just waiting, sitting there ready to sandblast or been sandblasted, ready to go. Yeah, and now they got these clips where you buy them and you weld them together and that's it.
Come from Avco. Is Avco still in business?
Yeah, Avco. Yeah, and I think they come as a stub and then you just weld everything.
Weld it up.
That's it.
What was the other one we used to buy a lot of parts from? Performance Bodies.
Yeah.
God, I remember that place was small, and now it's like Amazon.
Yep. A lot of my excess stuff, comes from Motor State or Speedway Motors and stuff like that.
Right.
They're pretty quick on shipping, so.
Sure. So, Lawrenceburg's your backyard.
Yeah.
You're what, 10 minutes most?
Yeah.
If you get hung at the traffic lights?
I could probably drive this car down there.
You probably could.
probably about a mile and a half or so.
So is Lawrenceburg your favorite?
Yeah, I'd say just because
grew up there and everything.
And
push trucking.
Yeah, and Lawrenceburg is more of a, you got more room to move. You got more room if something happens to get out of the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, plus their safety crew is good down there.
Top notch
safety
top
crew.
Notch.
Shane's definitely down there, new promoter. He's trying his best down there. But yeah, it just takes time.
It does.
But I really like Moeller too. I've always liked them shorter tracks.
I have said many times on and off camera, man. I think on the right nights, I think when they hit their setup right on the track, or when they got the track right, I think that place races just as good or better than anywhere.
The times that I've been there this year, a couple 3 times, track's been really smooth and ain't been no hiccups in it, and you roll right around it and without tearing stuff up or tearing shocks up and stuff like that.
What about Eldora?
I've never raced there.
That's what I was wondering. You ever raced there?
I went there one time. It was probably 3 years ago, and it started raining.
Okay.
We was unloaded. It started raining. Looking at the track, and they were still going to run. I was looking at the track, and I was nervous because I was like, it's going to be hammered down.
Hammered down.
Worried about my motor.
worried
about what gear to put in. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of glad they rained out.
Get you off the hook.
Yeah, so they rained out, and I hadn't had a chance to go back.
Hell, it's big. You got plenty of room to move around and everything, like Lawrenceburg, right?
Yeah, they plenty of room, that's for sure. Just don't let off. Is all I've heard. Don't let off going in the corner. If not, you end up in the wall.
I was gonna go there with my Super Dirt years ago. It was legal at the time for the Eldora stock car class, and I let my dad talk me out of it. I regret it because that's probably the only chance I don't know. I wish I would have done it, but he said, man, he said, that place is big. He said, you don't just wreck and tear it a little bit up.
Yeah.
He said, you tear it all the way up.
Yeah, you junk it. You wreck there, you junk your stuff.
I kind of backed out of that one, didn't do it. But then I wanted to go mod racing there, but man, I didn't have the stuff for that. I didn't have the gear. I didn't have the motor. There was like, no, I think I'll just go watch and drink beer.
Yeah, that's a lot cheaper. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. It may, depending on the night, may not be as fun, or maybe it is.
I would definitely like to go there though and try it just one time, see what it's like. You know,
right.
You always want that. Seeing what it's like.
See what it's like.
I mean, I've already flipped, so I already know what that's like.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to Eldora and experience what that's like.
There you go. I think you need to load her up and head up that way.
Yeah, we might do that sometime this year, 4 years.
I think they still got a few races on schedule.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these places, man, they ain't running mods anymore.
Right.
Brownstown, they ain't running mods at all this year.
Really?
A lot of people around here kind of slimming down on the mods.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely feel like mods have done a little bit like the late models locally. The cars are so expensive.
Yeah.
And the class is so expensive, and I feel like the car count dwindles. So it's like, man, it's hard for tracks to run them every single week, you know, unless they're the premier car that night. You know, it's hard to have a class that you struggle to get a dozen in.
Right.
You know,
I think a lot of these places, you know, just to try it out. I think our class in general should be at least $1,200 to $1,500 to win.
Oh yeah. And
I just try it one night.
Yeah.
See how many cars you get, and if it don't work that night, then don't run them again.
Right.
But you know, there's really nowhere around here close that's even paying that much.
Right.
And a lot of times when you do pay that much, like it's like when Mueller ran that race, they got, I think it was 2,000 to win or something.
Okay.
They ended up like with 40 cars. That's just 2,000.
For 2,000.
Nobody else was racing really.
Yeah.
There was a few places racing mods, but $2,000, why not?
What
$300 to start.
What do you think about a I don't know, like a regional series for modifieds?
Yeah. Actually, Jim Essex, I think. Jim Essex? James Essex, yeah. He come over to me this past weekend and was asking me about running the series.
Yeah.
He was going around to all my guys wanting to know what our thoughts was on running the series. So we might end up with another series.
There's a good chance of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got to spend some time this year with the Summer Nationals. And just about every single night of a Summer National race, there's a late models and modifieds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be done. You know, I'm not saying that the Summer Nationals is the greatest payout in the world, but if they're doing it, it can be done.
Oh, yeah.
Mars Series runs late models and modifieds. And I don't know if they always run theirs together, but I know there's Mars Series. So I could venture to see where there could be Northern All-Stars, late models, and modified series. Yeah. You know, and there may be a night that it's if James is busy or if James is still doing Lucas Oil stuff, well, there might just be a Northern All-Stars modified race that night. Yeah. You know,
I think it definitely work. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are willing to run for money. You know, because they're just obviously it's expensive, but you know, you still ain't gonna make make what you got in it, but at least
Right.
you're running for something, and
Sure,
you're
sure.
going there to run for something.
Yeah. I talked to Josh Harris about it at Fairbury, and he says, man, I'd love to see some kind of something. He says, since we've lost that AMS series,
Yeah.
he said, man, there ain't hardly nothing around. Guys got to pick and choose and look for races,
Right.
so.
And then you got that entry fee, $50 entry fee, which obviously you got that back, but
Yeah.
when you got to pay that, people look at that and they're like, man, I don't want to pay $50 a race, but you got your entry fee, obviously, but
Yeah.
they don't want to pay anything extra than that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think if a lot of these tracks start to get together and just start paying a little bit
Decent.
more money,
Pay decent.
I think they would get a lot more cars. 'Cause
Yeah.
you just don't have the car count that you used to have.
That's true. So
But it's price wise on
it is.
everything.
It is.
expensive.
Pricing on everything is just through the roof, man.
It's terrible.
What can we do about that?
Man, I don't know. Just quit.
Nah, it ain't no good. Then we'll be worse off we are now.
I'm
Everybody just
way-
keeps quitting.
I'm way too far from quitting. If I quit now,
You're way
I'd
too
be
deep.
lost.
Yeah. What would you do? That's a great question. If it weren't for racing, you wasn't racing, what would you be doing on a Friday or Saturday night?
Man, I don't know. I'd be bored to death.
You'd be bored to death.
I would. I don't know what I'd be doing.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd
That'd be weird, wouldn't
be,
it?
it would. It would
Yeah.
definitely be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's talk a little bit about Cory out of the race car.
Okay.
Growing up, did you play any sports growing up?
Man, I played basketball. I
Okay.
did do basketball. That's the only sport I played.
Really?
Yeah.
No baseball.
No baseball.
No football.
No none of that. I always got hound about playing football. They always wanted me to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. That getting hit, I just didn't want to get hit.
You didn't want to get hit.
I didn't want to get hit. Even I didn't want to get tackled. I didn't know.
Ah, okay.
But that was, yeah. I was just a little guy for sure back in high school.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. It was just basketball.
Okay,
And I
okay.
wasn't too good at it.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
About 2-inch vertical.
Yeah. Shit. I think I sat more than I played.
Right.
Yeah. But it was fun. I got to play a little bit and
Yeah.
enjoy it a little bit.
Where'd you graduate from?
Lawrenceburg.
Here in Lawrenceburg.
Lawrenceburg High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year?
07.
07. Okay. 07.
07. Yeah.
Is that where the number came
That's
from?
where the number come from.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the S actually on the back of that number, I left it there because I had another car.
Okay.
And I had a metric car. And then I bought Matt Hamilton's old Lightning he had.
Okay.
And I had it with the other one. And I raced one Friday night and I'd race the other one Saturday night. And mine was the S just for Skipton, but
Okay.
I had his on his. That other car was just 07.
Just 07.
Just 07 on that one.
Huh.
So I just left the S in mine.
Just left it on there.
Just for Skipton, I guess.
Huh. What was your number when you played basketball? Do you remember?
Man, I don't really remember. I want to say maybe.
It probably wasn't 07.
No, I want to say it was 12.
Okay.
I think it was 12, maybe.
Yeah. Typical basketball number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
What about hunting, fishing? Do any of that good stuff?
No hunting. I did always want to do hunting, but I really didn't want to go through the course because I was out that date where you had to go through the course.
Yeah.
So I actually was going to start the course and I never did.
Right.
But fishing, yeah, I done fishing back in the day.
Yeah.
We used to go on trips down Lake Monroe. We'd go down there for like a week.
Right,
Down in Bloomington. And we used to fish usually all week. We'd
Yeah,
bring home 200-300 fish in a week's
Nice.
time. But I haven't done fishing actually in a while.
Yeah, I can't tell you last time I picked up a pole.
That might be the question of if I quit. I may be fishing.
There it could be. Is there a fishing boat out here?
I got a fishing boat.
You got a
out there.
fishing
It's
boat.
ready to. That might be the answer to that question. I might end up fishing.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Right. We ain't gonna go that far. Maybe about 150, maybe. But
Right.
I'll probably still be in a race car
Okay. Yeah.
because I definitely haven't gave up on that.
Yeah. There's no sense in it.
No. You learn something new every time you get in that thing.
Yeah.
Man. It's just,
And it's fun. I mean,
yeah.
why quit now?
Right. It has its times where it's aggravating, and
Yeah.
it has its times where it's really fun. When you load up the car and you do
Yeah.
good, that's fun.
Yeah.
But when you load it up and it's tore up,
Those nights
That's
aren't
not
no
fun.
good.
No.
No bueno.
That ends up, actually, the night I flipped, we brought it home and I actually unloaded it that night, and I backed it in the here.
Backed it in. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you flipped, all four wheels and everything stayed on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just bent tore the left front off of it.
Yeah.
But that was it.
What about, man, you didn't race anything else, so who would you say has probably been your biggest, I don't know that rival is necessarily the word, or your biggest competitor, or is there anybody that you really had like, God, I got to race this guy, I'm door to door, or somebody it seems like you're door to door with every week and just can't get away from?
Oh, man, I don't really know. I can't really say anybody. I mean,
Okay.
Usually, you go out and you try to win. You go to the racetrack and you try to win no matter what. That's your mentality of
Yeah.
I really want to beat that Matt Hamilton.
I really want to beat that Matt Hamilton.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
You know how many times I've said that?
Right, but it's in my mentality of
Yeah.
that.
My goal every week is beat Matt Hamilton.
Right, no matter what.
I don't care who else is out there as long as I
don't
beat
give a
Matt.
shit.
Yeah. We went go-karting one time. Remember the old go-kart place here?
Yeah.
In Lawrenceburg?
Yeah.
What was the name of it? Is way before Full Throttle was around. Hey man, I can't remember the name of it. I'm getting old. I can't remember a lot of stuff.
Man, I'm telling you.
So we had a bunch of us racers went there. It's somebody's birthday, or whatever, and we all go out and we're racing. And remember Brad Greer? He used to be the announcer at Florence.
Yep.
So Brad comes over just to watch and heckle us, which is great. Get Brad out of the house.
Right.
And I think he videoed or somebody videoed one of our races or something. And afterwards, we were all gathering around laughing about it and this and that. And Brad said, "Oh, he said, DJ, come here. You got to see this video." He says, "Nice shot of Matt passing you right here." I'm like, Brad, I see that every single week.
Right. We don't want to see that.
You're right. Nobody wants to see it.
Right.
I've seen that a million times.
Right.
I said, now if you had a video the other way around, I'd like to see that.
I want to see that. I'll post that everywhere.
I will post
We will post that everywhere.
Right.
So,
Matt would love that video.
Yeah, he would.
It'd go viral.
I would definitely send it to him for sure. No matter what.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to doctor a video up or something.
I think we should. For sure.
We're picking on poor Matt here.
We are. Yeah,
he deserves it.
He's probably in the pool right now drinking. Or
right, he's probably drinking at the pool. You're probably right.
Yeah.
Any regrets? Maybe not.
Man, I tell you, they're when I flipped this car, I wish I wouldn't have went in so hard the first corner. I wish I would have stayed a little bit lower. But when you take the lead, your mentality is don't let off.
I got this.
Yeah. So I was talking to Jason about it, and he's like, "Man," he said, "I seen you going in there." He said, "I wish you would have just went a little bit lower."
Yeah.
He said, "Because as soon as you hit that berm there on the bottom," he said, "I knew it was over."
It was done.
So I wish I would have. I regret that. I wish I would have went a little bit lower. But
right.
in times of going down the racetrack, you just don't think of that.
Right.
You just think you don't think you're gonna flip.
You don't think, well, this could go bad.
Yeah.
That's really not in your thought process at the time.
No, it's really not. But man, that's about the only regret I can think of.
What about favorite drivers? Did you grow up watching NASCAR or anything like that?
I really didn't watch NASCAR. The only time I really watched NASCAR was like the last 3 or 4 laps.
Okay.
Because that's when it really got
That's
good.
the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I don't watch it anymore.
No, it gets so boring through the whole race and just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than watching dirt because there's a lot more action with dirt. But, with NASCAR, it's just so much more.
So give me your dirt, or doesn't have to be dirt. Give me your Mount Rushmore drivers. Give me anything. Late models, modified, sprint cars. I don't care. What you got?
I'm gonna say definitely Scott Bloomquist. He was one I watched a lot.
Yeah.
when I was watching, kind of back when I was a little bit younger.
Yeah, yeah.
Him and probably Mikey Marlar. You know, I watched him a lot.
Yeah, Mikey's tough. Mikey's tough. I can see that.
In the modified division, I mean, really, I didn't really watch too much of that.
Right,
I don't think I did, but I really didn't have no kind of driver that I looked into as much as the late model stuff, which I never thought I was going to be in a modified. So now it's kind of a little bit different.
Now you pay attention to it because you need
to. Pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
Especially, at a race, I like watching late models, but if a modified's going up, I'm going up to watch,
I'm going to go see what's going on.
Especially after a heat race or something, you're going up watching where they're running, how they're running, where they're running at,
and you get to see other characteristics. And so when you're on the track next to that guy.
I think, when I'm watching, I think I'm watching more of where they're letting out at and where they're getting back in the throttle. Because I have a little bit of issue with that, Either I'm sometimes I'm letting out too soon, or I'm not getting back in the gas quick enough, But that's kind of watching her left rear of when it's coming down, when it's going back up. So just in little things.
I can't tell you how many races I used to love. My favorite place to watch was inside the corner of turns 1 and 2 at Florence, and you could see the cars coming in, when and how they lifted, and you could watch them in the middle, and you could watch them drive off, and you could kind of see all of that. And I just sit there and just watch car after car, lap after lap, and just seeing how all the cars reacted, and you could learn so much.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot. I really watched back. I think when kind of before I started racing was Devin Gilpin.
Yeah.
He dominated a lot back when he was running his car.
Yeah.
His modified.
Yeah.
I did watch him a lot.
We had a Northern All-Stars race at Brownstown 2 weeks ago. Top 5 finishers. I looked at, and I turned and I looked at James. I said, I raced against every single one of those in the top 5.
Yeah.
Gilpin in the modified. Adam Stricker in modified.
Yeah.
When Josh Rice started in the modified, I was still in the modified, and I remember him spinning out in front of me.
Yeah.
Jason Jameson in the Super Dirt Stocks back in the day, and then racing against Derek Groomer in the modifieds.
Right.
I'm like, dang. I said, I didn't have nowhere near what those guys had.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You remember that time over at Florence when they had a big wreck up back there on the backstretch with Gilpin, and I can't remember who else it was. And his grandpa went out and ran and jumped on the back of his car. Jumped on somebody. I can't remember.
No, I don't remember that.
Man, that was over there. I can't remember who it was, though. It was right on the backstretch.
On the backstretch.
Yeah, something happened. Big race, big money.
Yeah.
And something happened, and maybe somebody spun him out, but his grandpa was up there on the tire, and his grandpa went out and jumped on somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Really?
I was there that night. I can't remember. I was in the infield, but I was watching.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I was racing at the time. I think I was racing at the time still.
Huh.
But, I remember that.
Well, I've talked to Devin. We haven't scheduled a sit-down yet, but he said, we'll do it. So, I'll have to bring that up.
Yeah, bring that up and see what it says.
It's always good to have those good scooters.
I'm sure he remembers because he was running. I think he might have been running. He was probably winning it.
Okay.
Winning it, running second one or two. Right. It was enough for his grandpa to get pissed off and jump on someone.
It sounds like it. Sounds like it. Huh. Well, I tell you what, man, I think this has been pretty good. I think we got some good content here. Before we wrap things up, though, here's your chance. Who do you need to thank? I know you got some sponsors.
Yep.
Probably got some buddies, some friends, people that's guided you along the way.
Yeah.
Now's your chance.
Well, I got to first thank Jody Puckett down at Stealth for helping me out, and his crew, Brandon and Andrew and all the guys down there that built these cars. Lawrence Motorsports, Mike Lawrence down at Lawrence Motorsports down there. Paul Wagner at 28 Motorsports.
Yeah.
Tires and fuel and all them parts and stuff. Slicker Graphics. Ohio Valley Precision. Scott Allen, he's here in Lawrenceburg. Ethan Burgess with Burgess Consulting. Yeah. He actually turned me around 360 here in the past few weeks with getting this thing balanced up. And
Kid's smart, man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing with the shocks and springs.
So I'm glad to have him up and on board. Nittenberg Concrete Construction. He helped me out this year. Obviously me, C&K Trucking.
Yeah.
Slicker Graphics for the good rap, and
I
not
like
even
it.
looking like it's flipped.
I like his colors, man. I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot of colors, but I like it.
And I always like the plain look.
Yeah,
kind of, not too many colors, just kind of plain Jane looking.
Right. I like it.
But yeah, that's about it on the car. So
that's what you got. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Cory, again, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me, taking time and us putting this together and making it happen. I know we've talked about it a while,
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it just takes a while for all the stars to line up and make things happen.
Yeah, like I said, people too, Jason Jameson, he helps me out all the time. And Matt Hamilton, he's helped me out a lot through the years.
Right.
With everything set up, stuff like that. So.
It's a good deal.
Yep.
All right, so where are you headed to this weekend?
I think we're going to go down to Richmond.
They got a butterball race,
right?
Yeah,
a $12.59 race down there. I think we're going to try it out down there and see what we can do.
Very good. Be safe and be fast.
Oh, yeah, we'll try.
All right, folks, thanks. We're going to wrap things up. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Merch, if you need any of that, hit us up. If you've got any suggestions, people you want to see on the show, like I said, I've got a laundry list of guys I've talked to. We just got to get the dates set up. And some of these are going to be some pretty good stories you're going to watch. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you stay tuned. And we'll see you track next week. Thanks.